In 2023, a psychopedagogue experienced an extraordinary journey between life and death after what seemed to be a routine surgery. What began as a tubal ligation procedure turned into a transcendental experience that would change her life forever. During her recovery, she not only visited a mystical garden with luminescent leaves and crystalline violet flowers, but also received unsettling visions of future events that could impact the coasts of several countries in the Americas in a curious narrative about the mysteries beyond our everyday understanding. Hello, I'm Marcus, and it's a pleasure to welcome you to Beyond the Life We Live. I hope you feel at home and absorb the lesson from the story we're about to tell. By the way, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It's really important to us and helps us bring you more impactful stories. Shelley Falcone had to undergo a non-conventional tubal ligation surgery. Since 2021, she had been undergoing gynecological monitoring due to anemia and recurrent infections. By mid-2022, her test results all came back abnormal, requiring iron supplementation due to low ferritin levels. The situation worsened when she entered a hemorrhagic period, making treatment merely palliative. In February 2023, the surgery was urgently scheduled. Before the procedure, she felt an inexplicable unease, as if she knew something was about to happen. On the Sunday before the surgery, she decided to have a family lunch, feeling internally as if it were a farewell. However, the surgery took place on February 28th and was successful. The next day, 24 hours after the procedure, she went to the bathroom accompanied by her husband. At that moment, she began to feel a heat rising from her feet to her head, her body tingling as if it were falling asleep. She managed to warn that she was feeling unwell. At that moment, her NDE began. She remembers experiencing a sensation of absolute comfort, as if she were in a warm and cozy bed. She found herself in a dense fog, similar to morning mist in the mountains. As she walked, the fog slowly parted, allowing her to see only what was nearby. That was when she realized she was in an extraordinary garden, with leaves that emitted their own light and had a unique luminescence. The leaves were damp, as if covered in dew, and seemed to communicate with her, welcoming her. Amid the luminescent foliage, there were violet-colored flowers, resembling amethyst crystals, shining in a unique way. As she wandered in amazement through this place, she began to hear a distant voice calling her back. At first, she ignored the calls, wanting to continue exploring, but the voice grew more insistent and closer.
Come back, Shelley. Can you hear me? Come back. Shelley,
The
come
voice
back now.
kept urging her to return, but Shelley refused, wanting to explore more of that extraordinary garden.
Shelley, come back now. Come back. Please, come back.
When she finally gave in and stopped focusing on her surroundings, everything went dark again.
Shelley, please come back now. You need to come back.
Gradually, she began to feel a growing discomfort, not pain, but rather the sensation of a sore and misaligned body. As she regained consciousness, she heard the nurse calling her name and asking her to open her eyes. When she finally managed to, she felt extremely exhausted, as if her body wasn't entirely aligned. The medical team immediately began administering medication, and she was taken to the Red Room, a kind of pre-ICU for patients requiring urgent care before being moved to the ICU. Upon waking up in the Red Room, Shelley noticed something strange. Everyone seemed very agitated and anxious, while she felt oddly detached from all the commotion. She observed everything with a peculiar sense of distance, internally questioning why people were so distressed. The doctor came in several times to speak with her husband and with her directly, but Shelley couldn't fully grasp what was happening. She only knew that something serious was going on, and she had to have a nasogastric tube inserted due to severe vomiting. An urgent CT scan was ordered. After the scan, the medical team's concern increased significantly. Shelley was transferred to the ICU, losing consciousness again during the transfer. Her blood pressure had dropped dramatically. In the ICU, the news came that she needed to be transferred to another hospital, where an abdominal surgery specialist was available, as she had developed an acute intestinal obstruction. During the transfer, Shelley was conscious but extremely weak. The new hospital specialized in complex abdominal surgeries, and she was immediately taken in for evaluation. The diagnosis confirmed the severity of her condition. In addition to the intestinal obstruction, she had developed severe abdominal sepsis, a critical condition where an infection in the abdomen triggers an uncontrolled inflammatory response that spreads throughout the body, potentially leading to multiple organ failure. The situation was dire and required emergency surgery. The doctor explained that it would be an extremely delicate procedure, as part of her necrotic intestine needed to be removed. During the pre-surgical discussion, the surgeon was straightforward about the risks, mentioning that the chances of survival were low due to the widespread infection. In the operating room, as the anesthesia took effect, Shelley once again felt that sensation of detachment. This time, however, the experience was different from the luminous garden. She found herself in a completely white space where she couldn't distinguish the floor from the ceiling. In the middle of this space, she saw a figure radiating an intense light. This entity began to communicate with her, not through words, but through thoughts and sensations, showing her scenes from her life, significant moments she had lived, and glimpses of the future with people who would still need her help and situations she would still need to experience. The communication with this being was profound and transformative, as it conveyed messages about the purpose of life, the importance of her experiences, and how every difficult moment had a greater meaning. At a certain point, she was told that it was not yet her time, as there was still much to be done in her earthly journey. During her recovery at home, Shelley began to have different experiences, including a significant vision during a dream where she found herself in a room resembling a television studio. There, a giant screen was divided into several smaller screens, displaying different news reports and information simultaneously. The familiar voice that had always accompanied her in life was present, guiding her to pay attention. The screen transformed into a map, focusing on the Asian region. The vision became three-dimensional, allowing her to observe the tectonic plates deep beneath the surface. These plates were colliding with extraordinary force, generating seismic waves in concentric circles. During the vision, she received information about massive explosions and saw a dormant volcano awakening due to the tectonic activity. The lava surged violently. Concerned about not remembering all the details, the voice instructed her to wake up and write everything down on her phone. Upon returning to the dream, she read what she had written and saw that her notes mentioned changes in ocean currents, which would begin to flow in the opposite direction. The water surrounding the Asian continent would start moving toward the Atlantic Ocean, affecting the coasts of the Americas. She was informed that the water volume would increase by 40%, causing silent but devastating floods in various coastal cities. The vision ended with images of news reports in different languages about natural disasters, and Shelley felt distressed, sensing that many people would be affected by this sequence of events without enough time to prepare adequately.